My 31M husband wants to try again for a baby with me, 25F. I've been pregnant 3 times, no live births. One before we got together, which I lost under 6 weeks, 2 with my husband, 1 7 weeks, and 1 13 weeks. The 7-week loss, my husband took me to the then told me to get over it after 2 weeks and wanted to try again right away. We fought a lot during this time. I was at fault, he was at fault, we both said things we shouldn't have and wasn't the nicest to each other for a few weeks. It was a dark time in our marriage. Fast forward 2.5 months, I become pregnant again, and I had massive anxiety about possibly losing the baby, which I ended up losing the pregnancy, and we started fighting a lot during this time. I had awful morning sickness, super fatigued, my work laid me off during a huge layoff round, and it was a scary time. My OBGYN put me on progesterone suppositories during this time, from 4 weeks till we went in and found out my sweet baby, due November 20th, 2023, was measuring behind. We went back a week later, and they said the baby is still behind. Next week, I went by myself, and was told my baby had no heartbeat. I was 12 weeks at this point, and my doctor told me to try to miscarry naturally. My husband was over the crying, heartbreak I was going through. I still had awful morning sickness, and I just cried all day. It was a hard time. A week later, I started miscarrying. My husband had his father over, and they were sitting outside, drinking and talking, and I was texting and begging him to come help me as the cramps were awful. I was alone, passing our baby alone, and needed to go to the I was sobbing inside, horrified, couldn't drive myself, and once my husband came in, he couldn't drive me either, because he had been drinking. He looked at me as I was laying in the blood on the bathroom sobbing and said I can't do this, and went back outside. I was alone through the process. It was awful. Since then, I haven't been able to really look at him the same because I feel heartbroken. He always was so supportive. I had a major surgery and was on a feeding tube when we first got together. He was so kind and took care of me. He took me to DRAPTs, cared for me, walked our dogs, my chore, did my feeding tube. He did it all with a smile, and was fantastic. I know he felt grief and was sad losing the babies too, but he left me alone. I'm not sure if it's because of how emotionally we fought after our first one together went, or what happened. Now my husband wants to try again badly. He asks all the time and talks about our future kids together. I don't trust him to be there for me in a vulnerable time again and don't want to put myself in that situation to feel heartbroken. I want to love my husband and trust him again, because he is a great partner overall. He's kind, fun, and loving. We have a great relationship, up until the fighting lately with the baby talk. I'm too triggered. What can we do to get back to a good point and be friends again? Editing to add. I truly do appreciate that all of you have shared your thoughts. Reading back through my comments makes me realize I was defending his actions very much, and the 13-week loss, there is no excuse for his behavior in that. I truly took a lot of what you said to heart and am looking into things, and want our relationship to last and get better. So we are going to try to work through this, if not, then we will need to go out separate ways. So when I got home we discussed therapy, how to move forward, and working on our communication skills. He told me that he just wanted to make me happy and he genuinely thought me having a baby was what would make me happy. My life goal honestly was to be a stay-at-home mother and have 5 kids, no joke. I have a first-grade project my father still has that says that on a what I want to be when I grow up poster. My husband was worried I was depressed and not wanting to try to have kids anymore and didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom anymore. I stayed home for 2 years and worked a part-time work-from-home job, the one I got laid off from. When I lost the last baby, I told him I want out of the house and to have a real income and start putting money away for vacations and to start traveling. He helped me make a resume, practiced interviewing me for jobs, practiced calling me so I felt confident to pick up the phone. When I said I didn't feel beautiful anymore, he took me clothes shopping for my job and stayed outside the fitting room and found my sizes. He helped me feel super confident and super supported going back to work. He just started the baby talk again about a month and a half ago, and that's why I'm so irritated, because I told him one time he hurt me with his actions and we didn't talk about it afterwards. Every time he brings up a baby, I just don't want to entertain it and go into how it hurt me, and he views it as complaints and fears for the future and to go with the flow and relax. Today we were texting, as it's our baby's due date today. We decided to start therapy using a free app at first, and then if needed we will go in person. Other things to add. No, my father did not hurt me. He actually raised me. My mother lost custody of me because of her husband, who was savage. My dad had me in therapy and was the best dad ever. I met my husband when I was 20. I had my own app, was working 2 jobs, and about to graduate college. No, I am not in danger. I am my husband's size and pretty fit. Not that size really matters, but he wouldn't ever physically hurt me. Yes, I do feel like he took care of me. The surgery was a year into our relationship. He was kind during that time. My husband is not a big drinker. Has a few every once in a while. My father-in-law is. Whole story there.